Hey guys, how y'all doing? I hope you've had a good day, because I literally only saw you yesterday with another video, but I thought let's do what I've wanted to do literally since I started my channel. I love watching these and I find it really interesting because I'm nosy, so it just sort of gives me my goodness because it's nosy. It's a nosy video. I am going to do a bookshelf tour, as you can see from the title, and I'm really excited about doing it because I've never done one before, obviously, and I just love them. They're so much fun. So you're just going to have to bear with me with how it goes. Obviously it's going to be my first ever try it. I hope it's good and I hope you enjoy it. So here we go. So as I am what you call a peasant, I have no tripod or some form of stand for my camera, but I thought I would give you an overview of my bookshelf. It is considerably large and my dad did build it for me. So my dad built this with his own hands, which I find pretty darn amazing, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shelves, and they vary in size depending on the sort of things that I want to put on those shelves. So I will now go to the bookcase. My first 2 shelves consist of my DVDs. These are my, would you say, children DVDs, child DVDs, fantasy, you know. I've got my Disney ones here, as you can see, and I have other Disney ones, and High School Musical, because I love them, Home Alone, Toy Story. I do love my DVDs. They are something I take very close to heart. And then we come down a shelf, and this is one of my favourite shelves because it is my geek shelf, let's say that. We have all the Spider-Mans, we have Avengers, we have Transformers, Star Wars, Fast and Furious, Batman, Titanic, Lord of the Rings, Fast and Furious again, Hobbit, all of the Harry Potter films, and then we come to all of the Twilight films. We have various other funny films, chick flicks, Godzilla, Jurassic Park, Sherlock Holmes, Percy Jackson, bad film. And then we come to more chick flicky films, and we've got She's the Man, Pride and Prejudice, 2 of my favourite films of all time. Confessions of a Shopaholic is actually probably my favourite girl film. I really enjoy it. I don't know why, but I just really do. And then we have Mean Girls. So, you know, loving life here. I love my DVDs. They're very, very important to me. And we come down to the 3rd shelf, and I have my entire 10 series box of Friends. It is my favourite series, film, TV, it's a TV live, come on, TV programme ever. I love Friends. I have all 6 seasons of Big Bang Theory because it is my 2nd favourite TV show ever. That with Game of Thrones. I think it's the 3rd season is at the moment on my cupboard because I am rewatching them. I have the 1st season of The Vampire Diaries, the first 2 seasons of Teen Wolf, and a Parker pen stuffed at the back here, which was my granddad's, and he brought this in 1978, I think. It's very, very special to me. Then we move on to books, yay! So here's my signed copy of Iggy Azalea's new single, Change Your Life, because Iggy Azalea is my everything. And we have the beautiful covers of Harry Potter. If I move my Lord of the Rings, I will show you. So we have Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This is the lovely British version. I do have to say I like the covers. They are very nice. I get along with them. Then we have Chamber of Secrets. Obviously, we have The Prisoner of Azkaban. These are all paperbacks. And then, of course, hardbacks. We have Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, and the magnificent Deathly Hallows. Now you can sort of see that my Deathly Hallows cover is sort of, I'd say, like colour washed, because I left it in the sun and the colour went, which was not the best thing to do, but I was stupid. Now we come to my J.R.R. Tolkien collection. I have The Hobbit, which is a lovely, lovely edition, if I may say so myself. Look at it, it's so pretty. And my auntie got me this for Christmas last year as I wanted to read it. Then my parents got me my fabulous and wonderful edition of all of the Lord of the Rings. It's such a beautiful, beautiful book. It's all 3 in one bind up. It's a lovely cover. It's just so pretty. And then inside, if I will show you, it has the map of the areas, and it has everything. It says Rohan and all that stuff, and it's a lovely edition, and I'm very lucky to have it. It's amazing. We then move on to my favourite novel of this year, which was The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I brought this from Asda quite a while back. You saw it in a book haul. Then we come on to some of my favourite books of all freaking time. The amazing, incredible Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. This woman knows how to write my soul, man. It's insane. So we have the fifth book in the series. We have City of Lost Souls, which is my favourite book in the whole series because it was just so good, guys. I couldn't deal with it. And then we have City of Fallen Angels, fourth book in this series, the Mortal Instruments. City of Glass, the third book, which was meant to be the final book, but of course she decided to make it a lot longer. City of Ashes, the second book, and of course, as you all know, City of Bones, the first book in the Mortal Instruments series, and the last book comes out next year in May. I am very much looking forward to that. Following on to more Cassandra Clare, I then have her Infernal Devices series, which was equally as flipping amazing, even better. That's Clockwork Angel. Then we go on to Clockwork Prince. I have it in a bigger version than original copies. I will show you. It's not like it's a hardback, but it's just a larger version of normal sized books. So we have Clockwork Prince, and then I was lucky enough to get the same large version in Clockwork Princess. So they are my beautiful Infernal Devices, and I love her covers. They're always so nice. I think the only cover I don't like of Cassandra Clare's is probably City of Fallen Angels, because it just looks so weird. I don't like it. And then we come across to my amazing trilogy of The Hunger Games by Susanna Collins. The Hunger Games, Catching Fire and Mockingjay. These aren't what you'd say the best covers in the world, but I personally think they're really nice. They all follow the same pattern. They all have the same layout, and I just think it's a nice way to set a trilogy. It's set nicely, beautifully, and I almost feel like the colours do tie into the story, the main premise. And although the cover of the American version and our newly released British version was just plain black with the Mockingjay on, or anything, just something plain on, I do personally prefer these. I think they're far more inviting and a bit more, you know, mysterious, because you don't really know what could this mean. What could the orange mean? What could the blue mean? You know what I mean? I know what I mean. That I suppose that's what's important. I'm happy now because I've now been able to move down to my fourth shelf. I will start from the left and I will move Allegiant because we don't need that at the moment. And we have my Twilight series. We have Breaking Dawn, which I got off Amazon the second it was released, and it was the first hardback I'd had since Harry Potter, and I loved it, and I still love Breaking Dawn to this day. It's one of my favourite books of all time. Then we have Twilight, New Moon and Eclipse. Eclipse was the first book I ever read in the series because I'd never really bothered to read it, which is bad, but it never appealed to me. But once I did read it, I was damn right happy because I knew it was going to be good. And then we go to The Host, which is another novel by Stephenie Meyer. I have to be honest, I freaking loved this book. It was so good, but I have to have the stupid movie cover. I would have preferred to just have the cover with the eye on, but hey ho. This was all they had, so I just went with it. It's the book that counts at the end of the day. Then we move on to the amazing trilogy of Divergent, which has just obviously been concluded with Allegiant. We have Divergent and Insurgent by Veronica Roth, and then I will lift. And I have Allegiant by Veronica Roth. All three books, and I'm going to finish it soon. And then we have Angel Fall by Suzanne E., which is the first book in the, let's have a look, see? Penguin and the End of Days series, which is about angels. I am yet to read this, guys. I'm just so bad with this, but she's releasing the second one at the end of November, so I better get a crack on and read it so I can read them back to back. Then we move on to Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas, which is a new series about an assassin, and it's so freaking good, guys. I read like the first 100 pages in Throne of Glass, and it's just amazing, and I can't wait to finish it. I just freaking loved it. Then we move a bit further up the shelf. I have all of my Game of Thrones. Not all of them, the first 4. I have 3 more to collect. Then we have the History Keepers stories by Damien Dibben. I freaking love Damien Dibben's writing. More people need to know about his books. The History Keepers, Storm Begins, and the History Keepers, Circus Maximus. I love these books, guys. Please read them. They are just, oh, no words, man. They were so good. Please read them. I then have the infamous The Fault in Our Stars by Mr. John Green. I read it and I enjoyed it. I did. Don't hurt me, but the hype made it too hyped up for me. That makes sense? It does. It made it too hyped up for me, and I went in with too many expectations, but I still enjoyed it, and it was just so beautiful that at the end I cried, but I cried more through anger at the fact that she couldn't be with him than sadness. It was a lot to deal with, guys. I don't want to revisit it, but hello. We go on to Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. Still yet to read Unravel Me. I love this book. I read it in like a few hours. It was just so easy to whiz through and read because it was just so nicely done. If you have not read it, please read it. You can go and look at any synopsises for these books on the internet, guys, because I'd love to give you a brief one, but I know this video is going to be long anyways because I ramble like a bitch, but I will try. And then finally, I have Inkheart by Cornelia Funk. I read this sitting in a Halfords, which is a bike place in Britain. Yes, I sat there and just read the whole book in Halfords because I was really bored and Mum and Dad were trying to find a bike and I did not want to be on that. So we now come to the end of this shelf. We have The Spiderwick Chronicles, one of my favourite books ever, by Tony Diterlizzi and Holly Black. Thank you, Holly Black, for having a simple name, unlike the other author for the books. I then have, the amazing, I cannot rave anymore about this series, guys. Gone series by Michael Grant. I tell you what, the first book was good, the second book was good, the third book, oh man, picked up pace to the max. Plague blew my mind, Fear, oh my Jesus, and Light just left me crying. I finished this series the other day and I was in tears, guys, because it was the note that he left at the end when he was like, my readers, you can now leave the phase, and if you read the books you will understand that. And it was just so much to deal with, guys. It was emotional, but I still loved it, and please read them if you haven't. I cannot rave anymore about them. And then we come up to the horrible, may I say, covers of Percy Jackson, well, the British versions, and we have Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I loved these books. I read them years ago though, so I cannot remember hardly anything about them. Sea of Monsters, then we go on to Titan's Curse. So we have Lightning Thief, Sea of Monsters, Titan's Curse, Battle of the Labyrinth, and The Last Olympian. I really want to read The Heroes of Olympus, is it? I think, yes, Heroes of Olympus series. I want to read that. It is my next goal when it comes to reading, so hopefully I will let you in, don't worry. You will know if I read it, I promise. We are now on the 5th shelf, which is just a compulsion of many books. Here are my classics. I have The Picture of Dorian Gray, which is a weird cover. It's by Oscar Wilde, but I think it's really pretty, and it was in hardback, and I got it from a Oxfam shop, which is a thrift shop in Britain, for only like £1, so that was amazing. I then have Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. I did have to buy and read this for school because we did a massive essay on it, so I think it has my notes in it. Should we have a look-see? One sec. Basically, me and one of my best friends attacked the back page of this, as you can see. I got these pictures off a Minion in McDonald's, and then I just attacked it. See, there we go, there's some notes from Liv, trying to be all arty and clever, and really she knew jack. I'm not going to finish the sentence because it's rude. I then had The Time Traveller's Wife by Audrey Neffingnger. Never know how to pronounce that. The Shadow in the North by Philip Pullman. Holes by Louis Sachar. The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Still my all-time amazing romance novel. Oh, love it so much. Then we have Treasure Island by R.L. Stevenson. Great book, I really liked that. Then we have Peter Pan and Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens by J.M. Barrie. Peter Pan, man, I just love the books. They're just so cool, and I think I think any classics really, you don't need to shame them or dismiss them because they're classics. You should still read them because they will be good books. It's a beautiful cover look, Peter Pan. I think it's beautiful, it's lovely. We then have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, which is a Penguin classic. Then we have The Help by Catherine Stockett, Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, Every Day by David Levithan, Bright Rose by Jean Oliver, Jules Verne, my favourite classical writer of all time, Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I love his writing very, very much. And then I have The Little White Horse by Elizabeth Gouge, which I recently read and I enjoyed very much. Then we come on to Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Oh. I love this book, it's emotional, I love it. And then we have another Jules Verne, which is Journey to the Centre of the Earth. Favourite classical author ever, I love his work. And then we have The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. You've seen this many a time in many a video. I then move on to some of my books that I have to say are my guilty pleasures when it comes to books. I have these because we got them from the Radio Times, which is a magazine in Britain, and they are 3 books full of Sherlock Holmes mysteries basically, and they are The Hound of the Baskervilles is one of them, and then you have many more in there by Arthur Conan Doyle, and Scandal in Bohemia and Other Stories, and The Final Problem and Other Stories, all by Arthur Conan Doyle and all Sherlock Holmes adventures. I then have Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. I then have 2 Roald Dahl books, James the Giant Peach and Danny the Champion of the World, because I love them. James the Giant Peach is my favourite Roald Dahl book. Moving along to my favourite contemporary series ever. I would say it's contemporary because it's not fantasy. And that is The Confessions of a Shopaholic series by Sophie Kinsella. I love them so much, guys. I've read them all. Shopaholic and Baby isn't here at the moment because someone is reading it. I borrowed it to them, and if you haven't read them, you will really enjoy them. They are pretty darn amazing books. I then have Bernard Cornwell's Heretic. I still haven't read it. Terry Pratchett's The Hogfather. I love this book. I read it every year at Christmas because I used to love watching the programme with my mum. I then have Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. The War at Troy by Lindsay Clark. The Fire Within, the first book in the Dragon Chronicles by Christy Lacey. I didn't enjoy it very much. I don't know, maybe it picks up pace in the other books, but I didn't really like it. I then have the book of the Snow White and the Huntsman, and I liked it. It was really easy to breeze through. I then have Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman, get out in the end, which is a good novel. I really enjoyed this, and it's a very different take on the whole race debacle. That's a great word to use. I then have Sabriel, which is the first in a trilogy by Garth Nix. I really liked this book, but I never finished the trilogy. I never went on to read any more. I then have the first 4 books in the Vampire series, Books of Falling. They have got the TV show on the front. I have the first 2, which is The Awakening and The Struggle, and then The Fury and The Reunion by L.J. Smith. But I just stopped reading after these because then she lost rights to write her own books, so I was like, I'm not going to read it anymore. I'm going to stick on her side and not read them. Then I have my Northern Lights trilogy by Philip Pullman. I really liked this trilogy. It's the Dark Materials, his Dark Materials, and I thought it was a brilliant trilogy. Please read it if you haven't. It is high fantasy and it is incredible. I then have Eragon by Christopher Paolini. I haven't read any more. I've read that one, I enjoyed it. I then have Pure by Julianne Baggott, which is the first in the series. The second book, Fuse, came out quite recently. It is a dystopian novel. It's quite different, it's very strange, but you could enjoy it if you like that sort of stuff. I'd have Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kinney. I loved that. I got that for free from school one year and I freaking loved it, so I do think I will read the rest. I then had the first 2 books in the Die For Me series by Amy Plum. I read these and I honestly just don't want to know what happens to them because it was just so boring in the end. I was like, oh, I can't be bothered anymore. Don't care what happens to you in your life. And I almost killed my little turtle. Look, this is my little turtle. He sits on my shelf. He enjoys life. I hope he does. My last and final shelf consists of weird things. I have The Secret Garden here, you can't see because of the light. I have Roald Dahl's Song and Verse, Usborne History of Britain. I have a few other little books. I then have many Usborne books here, like Encyclopedia of Science, Encyclopedia World History. I have Jacqueline Wilson books here. I have Holly Webb, Lost in the Snow, The Cat Mummy, Sleepover. We then reach my Tracy Beakers. This is a book by Michael Hoy, Sands of Time, which is about a mouse. That was a really good book. I then come on to my CDs. I have Ed Sheeran, Drake, Beyonce, Cheetah Girls, High School Musical, you know, the norm. And then one of my favourite things I own, which is my parents' old camera, and it's so pretty and it's just so fancy. Then we come here and I have various things. I have the Bramley Hedge collection. I then have all my Barbie films when I was a child, Christmas films because I put them there until it's appropriate time of year to get them out, and then a few little thingamabobs. I have the first season of One Tree Hill here, one of my favourite programmes as a teenager, and my friend just brought me the second and third season for a present, so I'm very happy about that. And then that's it, guys. Not much on the shelf. I know. My bad. It's messy now. It's gonna take me ages to sort this out. Woo. So there you have it, my amazing bookcase. I do think it's pretty darn amazing, if I say so myself. I do love all my books I own, and they mean a lot to me, so it's amazing to me. But I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. And if you could, subscribe to my main channel, Olivia Cooper with 2 R's 11. I will link that in the description because I'm really close to 100 subscribers, and if I got there I would cry, man. It'd be tears. But I'm really excited to upload this. I hope you like it, and come back and watch more videos, guys, because we can fangirl together, because, you know, and if you're a guy, we'll fangirl together, because we're not sexist on this channel. So have a really, really good day. Remember to smile today, and I'll see you soon. Bye!